Dogs have always been referred to as man's best friend. But why is that? I'm going to take this time to examine that phrase and what it means. I'm going to get into how we domesticated dogs, what their original purpose was, and what they do for us today. At the end of this presentation, I hope you'll understand that dogs and humans are as interlaced as two species can be. It all began about 20,000 years ago when our nomadic hunter ancestors befriended the first wolf. While there's no evidence to show why our ancestors befriended wolves, what we do know is that once the relationship was established, humans began the process of domestication immediately, only mating together those wolves that showed the characteristic social behaviors that we know as dog-like. Dogs originated from an ancient wolf ancestor. While it's debated which species came from where, for the sake of conformity, I'm going to stick to the most commonly adopted explanation for the evolutionary tree that led to the domestication of dogs. Approximately 1.5 million years ago, the common ancestor for modern-day canids existed as Canis mobichensis. It is widely thought that Canis mobichensis was spread across Eurasia during the Ice Age and went to North America as well. After the thaw, however, the ones who were trapped in North America became modern-day red wolves, while the ones roaming Eurasia breached into gray wolves and the domestic dog. Dogs started simply as the nicer mobichensis, who would wait around the fires for post-hunt scraps rather than growl at early humans for dominance. Over the years, the symbiotic relationship of dogs protecting human camps as a way to protect their potential food became an interdependent relationship, with the most wild instincts being diminished around 34,000 years ago. At this point, the true dog is born, and its survival ultimately depends on a human's ability to care for it. Through time, humans began to use dogs as tools. This is where selective breeding begins. We wanted dogs that could sniff out game on long hunts, so we bred those with the strongest noses, with those that had the most endurance. That created the hunting class of dog. Those are your hounds, your pointers, and your beagles. As we transitioned into an agricultural society, however, we needed dogs to assist around the farm. We bred dogs that interacted well with types of cattle, with dogs that had high agility and high endurance. That gave us herding dogs. These are the descendants of modern-day collies, German shepherds, and heelers, those feisty devils. Now that we had been agricultural, we needed a way to transport our meats and grains, so what do? We turned to our trusty friends again. We bred the biggest and strongest dogs together to create working-class dogs. These are your Huskies, your Great Danes, your Newfoundlands, and of course your Burmese mountain dogs. As time went on, our pooches transcended their ancestral duties of assisting mankind on its path through history, and humans began creating breeds that were more for show. We wanted true companions that were made to be by our side 24/7. This is where breeds like the Pug, Shih Tzu, Chihuahua, and others came into play. Most commonly associated with royalty and made pocket-sized so queens and duchesses could carry them around without much exertion. There inevitably became consequences to all this selective breeding, though. In order to maintain pure bloodlines, the genetic diversity of breeds began to diminish. This led to a series of genetic diseases found in purebred dogs. Labs tend to be obese, Huskies get autoimmune diseases, Pugs can literally have eyes pop out, and Chihuahuas, they get eczema. All is not lost, though. Every year, the American Kennel Society acknowledges new breed, which is encouraging breeders to mix breeds to potentially create new and exciting breeds for the new generations of mankind. Modern medicine has helped us to anticipate those genetic diseases and treat them preventatively so our fur babies can have long, happy lives without any issues. History aside, there is much more modern-day dogs do for us than their ancient ancestors could have anticipated. The diversity and range of tasks dogs can perform in our current day vastly surpasses that of their ancestors. German shepherds, for example, used to be simple cattle herders. Now they are used for an array of different jobs, from law enforcement to assisting the blind and the disabled. Modern dogs have also become much more in tune with humans. Studies have shown that more than genetic factors, a dog's home environment determines their personality traits more than anything, which is why you can have two of the same breed that act so different from one another. No better example of this exists than the difference between Labrador retrievers raised as true pets and others raised as hunting companions. The innate instinctual difference between the two is stark. Dogs have also increased the size of their occipital lobes within their brain. This has allowed them to genuinely interpret human language. Studies have shown that the reward centers of their brain have been intertwined with their occipital lobes to react to words and praise with the same excitement as humans. In essence, they've evolved to have brain language receptors similar to that of humans. This brings us to the pinnacle of evolution from proto-wolf to pet dog, the modern dog. Modern dogs are used as psychological assistants with patients. Dogs have evolved to be so in tune with human emotion and needs they become the perfect partner for people suffering with debilitating psychological problems. Things like PTSD, chronic anxiety, severe depression, etc. can all be assisted with a properly trained dog. Dogs also assist with legitimate medical issues. For example, a support dog bred with diabetics can be trained to lick hands to read blood sugar and alert someone if it drops or rises certain amounts. They're trained to awaken their owners or even trained on how to get them snacks needed to avoid diabetic shock. Likewise, dogs for blind people are trained to assist in every major daily task in the life of their blind owners. Seeing eye dogs stop at crosswalks, they tap on doors, announce bumps and curbs, signal for stairwells, and even pull their owners out of potentially dangerous scenarios. They maintain a constant read on their owners' emotions and have been trained to and bred to only react to their owners and not the overwhelming stimulus found within the outside world of man-made society. Perhaps the most impressive of all working dogs is the sniffing dog, found in every airport, train station, border crossing, and government building across the world, trained from puppies to sniff out bombs, drugs, people, and even unclaimed food. These are clearly the most gifted and in tune dogs that save potentially thousands of lives every day. Dogs in the 21st century can perform virtually any task assigned to them. They've truly come from hungry wolves looking for scraps to a species so intertwined with man that neither knows how they get along without the other. Dogs have been right beside us, wagging their tails, defending our yards since the beginning of written history. As we forge ahead into the age of technology, what wonders await the relationship of man and dog? Will technology allow us to have conversations with our pooches? Will we advance their medicine as we have ours with bionic prosthetics? Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain. Our best friends will remain by our sides until the very end. Thank you.